All right, episode 12. We're here. We've got March Madness happening. Moves are starting to happen in the NFL offseason, so we've got those things coming up. We've got a few other updates, and then best team today, we've got some all-time greats happening. You're waiting for a time to say it, so I'll cue you up. This is episode 12.
Dulce.
Good job.
Yep.
You did
Episode
you did good.
Dulce.
Dulce. And then we're going to be ending with the Rom-Com draft.
Yes.
But today, we got a good workout in, but I just got to say, it's the when we're recording right now on Monday, it's the official first day of spring. Let's go.
Yes.
Super exciting. But it feels like the first day of winter here in Richmond, Virginia.
I mean, it was at 26 degrees this morning.
It was freezing. It's been such a delightful winter, aka spring, actually still winter.
Yes.
Then all of a sudden it's getting freezing when spring starts.
But did you see later in the week, Thursday, Friday?
Is it good?
Might be an excuse to golf. Friday, 78.
Okay, that makes me feel better because knew it was freezing today. Caitlin's going on a work trip down in Florida. And she's like, yeah, it says 80-something degrees tomorrow in Florida. So hopefully we'll get a little bit of that love.
Yeah, good for her.
But yeah, since we've got a lot to cover, let's go ahead and jump into March Madness, which has been delivering this year.
I feel like it's delivered more. Obviously, March Madness is always crazy.
Hence, but dare I say, even it's been madness.
Yes. But I feel like
Christian pun.
Actually, that's true. But I feel like it's been even more mad this year.
I would love to know if there are any statistics comparing to past years, because obviously we got the lights going crazy today in here if you're watching on video. It might be possessed with something. But obviously we saw the first number one seed get knocked out last year, right? Was that the Virginia one? No, it was 2, 3. When was it?
3 years ago, because then UVA won the national.
That's
4
right.
years ago. Because
that's crazy that it's that long
2019,
ago.
because UVA won UVA won in 2019. And so they got upset in 2018.
Okay. That
first round.
That doesn't feel like it should have been that long ago.
No, but it's also crazy if you think about it. They got upset as the number one seed in 2018 and then won the national championship.
I mean, I guess it's not that crazy since it was a number one seed and then a national championship winner. It's like just one.
But you
bad
could
game,
let that loss affect the entire program for years. Yeah. But obviously they still do.
With Purdue.
With UVA Furman.
So that game, since it was the first crazy one, wild. I wanted to pick Furman. I actually looked back. I did pick it in one of my brackets. Didn't in our undrafted group. But I was like, nah, that just doesn't make sense. Yeah. Yes, my brother went to Furman. I was like, I'll pick him. I don't love UVA. I don't love Virginia Tech. Being up here, I obviously just, don't love it. Yeah. But my man throwing the ball up with 3 seconds left. I guess my only assumption is he thought there was
less time.
So
he just
he's like, the time's going to expire. Doesn't. Furman drains it. That was pretty awesome.
Instincts took over. That guy, as fast as possible, passed it to the guy on the 3-point line, and he drains it immediately.
But I will say, this was shocking at first, but UVA is going to come out of this weekend as the winner because they went from bottom, losing to Furman, to Arizona and Purdue made them look so much better.
That's very
Not
true.
only did the number 2 and the number 1 seed with Arizona and Purdue lose, but Purdue was now the second number 1 seed overall besides UVA to lose. So despite losing to Furman, they ended up looking a little bit better than they did at first.
So I would even argue, obviously statistically, it's not a bigger upset, but I would argue the Princeton, Arizona was a bigger upset because so many people thought Arizona were either going to make the championship or win.
Honestly, Purdue and Arizona had a lot of people picking both, but I agree. Arizona almost had number 1 seed picks for number 1. You know what I mean? Like people were treating them like a number 1 seed.
It's also crazy because FDU was a 24-point underdog.
Did you see I saw a video comparing Purdue's gym and FDU's gym. Did you see it?
I did not see that.
We'll throw it up on the YouTube, just like pictures of each one of them, because FDU's gym looks like not even a high school, like a very small high school gym.
Are you serious?
It's got, it's probably more than it looked, but it looked like 10 rows of bleachers on each side versus Purdue's obviously a huge arena.
So do you know how FDU qualified?
No.
So they made their conference championship. I don't even know what conference they're part of. Some very small, tiny Division I conference. They made it and lost. So they weren't even supposed to be here. But the team that won, I forget the exact name, but the team that won, there's like a 4-year eligibility rule. Mm-hmm. If you go from like D2 or something like D1, you can't make the NCAA tournament for 4 years.
Yep.
And the team that won it, that beat FDU in the conference championship, this was their 4th year. So they couldn't make it.
1 year different. This upset wouldn't have happened.
Yeah.
That is the other crazy things about this game. And so FDU was obviously just like triple teaming Zach Edey, which was hilarious looking because FDU had I think it was the shortest starting roster. So
Tallest guy was 6'6".
so they're triple teaming him. Purdue does nothing outside of that.
Yeah.
A hilarious looking shutdown.
So FDU plays the Northeast Conference, and they lost to Merrimack University by 1 point. But Merrimack could not compete because of the 4-year transition from Division II.
Unreal.
That's so fun. That's so fun.
But that was insane.
It was. So then the round of 32.
Well, before we get there, which one, I guess, would you still say Arizona Princeton was the wildest one?
Oh, no. I still think
FDU?
FDU.
Yeah.
I think the Princeton one actually busted more brackets because I really think a lot, even in ours, like a lot of people took Arizona to either make the championship or win the championship. But overall, like you said, like with FDU's tallest guy being 6'6" in their gym, unbelievable.
That's crazy.
That's why we love March.
We love March.
Yeah.
1, 2, and 4 gone. Then move into round of 32. Princeton might just be the real deal. And by the real deal, I mean a solid team. I'm not going to say they're winning this whole thing.
They're winning the whole thing. It's crazy. I mean, they're in the Sweet 16 as a 15 seed. So
they knock out Mizzou.
They look good too. Who knows? Maybe the Ivy Leagues or the mid-majors are underrated.
Maybe.
And then, of course, you have, so I will say Tennessee Duke first because I lost $100. So I got a free bet credit.
Yeah.
They're signing up this app of $300. Out of $300 in free credits, I made 50. That's how bad my bets were this weekend.
Takes.
So I thought Duke was going to make the Final Four. I did
too. I actually had Duke in the Final Four.
Duke,
but Tennessee bodied them.
I watched the whole game.
Yeah.
And it pissed me off. I wish I wouldn't have watched the game.
That's when you got to just
Tennessee looked good though. I mean, they
Tennessee did look good. Arkansas beat Kansas. Yeah. So another number 1 seed gone.
Which is insane.
Who'd you pick to win it all at the beginning of all this? Like before, like in your bracket?
Why am I blanking on this? Oh, Alabama.
Okay. That's what I had too.
Yeah. So and in fact, a little statistic real quick. Alabama, they've pretty much been given a gift. So they have to beat San Diego State, the number 5 team on Friday, but then Sunday they either have to beat Creighton or Princeton, and they make the Final Four. So they have to beat a 5 and either 6 or 12 to make the Final Four.
Don't sleep on Princeton, though.
No, we're not sleeping. No. I'm saying, like, if you're Alabama,
that is. If you're their path did just get a lot.
You
easier.
have to be like licking your chops right now.
I thought they had to go through Arizona.
I was about to say, well, I mean,
they didn't.
To go through Arizona to get to the Final Four, or to go through like
Princeton. I would
Creighton,
or Creighton or Princeton. So that's wild. I think everyone's brackets have to be in shambles, but you did a little legwork. So I'll let you share this because I was curious what are the odds of an actual just like perfect bracket? Because you hear crazy stuff. So you did some research.
Yeah. So two ways.
The
first way is if you just don't really know anything about basketball and you're filling out a bracket randomly, like a coin flip. It is 1 in 9.2 quintillion. Which, first of all, I mean, I guess
it's a real number, by the way.
Trillion. I don't know. Maybe is quintillion after trillion? I don't know.
Yes.
It's too big for us to fathom, right? It's like a one piece of sand.
It has 6 commas in it.
Yes.
Not zeros, commas.
Yeah. And so they say even if you're like an analyst and you study and you watch college basketball, the odds of a perfect bracket is like 1 in 120 billion. So March Madness compared like in our bracket, our undrafted amateurs bracket. Which
shout out everyone who joined this bracket.
Yeah, which we had a good turnout. We had 59, I think.
Yeah, I think something like that. A lot better than I was expecting.
Yeah,
because it was an idea we had on the Monday before.
Literally like 3 days before.
Yeah, we'd already recorded the episode and we're like, let's just
do
open it up and see what people.
Yeah, we still got 2 gift cards out in play. So if you finish first, 75, and second, it's 25
to the local store called Amazon.
Yeah, if you will. So I can't even. I don't have my glasses on.
Probably losing is in first right now.
It's probably winning.
It's probably winning with 440 points, which is solid. We've got everyone tied for 11 on is above 400 at this point. Compared to ESPN's massive group, we've got one guy with 570, but his max is 1810.
Compared
So
to
that's pretty
1320.
impressive still.
It's
That's
very
a
impressive.
good.
Yeah, there's over 700,000 entries to the SportsCenter 2023 bracket challenge. So we wanted to compare ours and see like how it was doing. We're doing significantly worse, but
With
that's okay.
significantly less people. It's all good.
Right. So it looks like right now the best bracket is 570 points with like an 1810.
This has to be one of the worst years that people have had.
It has to be because you have 2 2s and 2 1s gone by the Sweet 16.
Yep.
That's crazy. Normally you have all 4 1s to at least get the Sweet 16.
That's crazy.
But yeah, and shout out to my boy Cole right there at 11, who has 1560 max left. So
Solid.
that's
Yeah,
pretty
there's a
solid.
few 15s. Oh, there's a 1610.
Yeah. So, but you know, you have people like the guy who picked Arizona right there. Like his max is 900. So like
So he's halfway there
he's
at this
done.
point.
Yeah. He's done. Sorry, guy.
So sharing the love there.
Yeah, he's done.
All right. Well, I'm excited to see what happens with the rest of this tournament. Although it's obvious, I mean, it's not going to be as crazy as the start of it. This lived up to all the hype, all the things that I love. We've mentioned it. I don't really follow college basketball during the year, but March Madness kicks in. So fun.
Yeah, heavily followed.
But following right now, the NFC offseason, I think I was saying a few episodes ago that it wasn't that exciting in the offseason. There weren't a ton of moves. Still no huge names happening.
The NFL,
but there's starting to be a lot of stuff shaping up right now. Yeah, NFC. Did I say NFC?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Can't talk. NFL offseason. So running down the quarterbacks and running back moves.
Yep.
We had obviously Derek Carr going to the Saints. Jimmy G's ending up on the Raiders.
Yeah, I kind of like that.
Kind of like that. Jacoby Brissett is with the Commanders because Taylor Heineke went to the Falcons. So it's interesting. I thought that the Commanders were going to double down on Taylor Heineke.
I did too.
But
Everyone
I guess
loves Heineke too.
I guess they've just like went ahead and spent the money on Carson Wentz, and so they're keeping him. But I don't necessarily agree with that. Andy Dalton is with the Panthers, which will be interesting with how number 1 pick bringing in a veteran.
I love that.
A lot of moves happening with the Panthers. Any other notable ones? Sam Darnold left the Panthers, went to the 49ers. Baker Mayfield is with the Bucks. I'm curious if they are picturing him as the starter this year.
They are.
They are?
I already looked it up.
Okay.
They're already, I guess, predicting Baker, the 28-year-old former first-round draft pick, to be the starting quarterback of the Bucs.
Interesting.
Yeah. I mean, who else they have over there?
So, I mean,
Tom Brady.
I think it's fair to say they're going straight rebuild at this point now. And
I don't know, man. Baker just looks so unconfident in Carolina. And it could be like partly coaching, partly scheme, but
looked solid. Well, he was just getting the ball deflected so much at Carolina.
So I think that's also why I have such like a sore spot for small quarterbacks. Because, dude, seeing him get the ball deflected constantly was deflating.
That is fair.
It really was.
Then the running back side of things, it kind of seems like a carousel is happening right now. David Montgomery left the Bears and went to the Lions. Jamal Williams left the Lions, went to the Saints. Who else is like notable right now on this
Miles
list?
Sanders went to the Panthers.
Yes, that's a big one.
Yes.
And Deontay Foreman, where did he end up?
Foreman went to the Bears. So they're taking the Panthers players. DJ Moore.
Yeah, so PJ Walker signed with them too.
PJ Walker.
DJ Moore, Foreman.
Wow. They're going to be a Panthers 2.0. The Bears, you think the Bears make the playoffs this year?
If they do, it's as a wild card. They're not winning the division. I think I feel like they're probably a year out, but I wouldn't be shocked if they did.
They're set up.
They're set up pretty well.
Yeah. They're set up as long as they make some good draft picks.
Yeah. And then, like we said, moving on to receivers, tight ends, DJ Moore is with the Bears now. They've added some other receivers as well. Juju Smith-Schuster is now with the Patriots, which will be interesting to see. I'm guessing the Chiefs are going to have to draft because they haven't acquired any big receivers this offseason.
Yeah,
right? Am I missing anyone?
I mean, they might just be thinking Patrick Mahomes can throw to a JV high school wide receiver at this point.
Yeah, but I mean, at some point you still have to build out someone. So I'm assuming they're going to draft for him.
Yeah. No, I'd imagine so. They probably use one of their top couple picks.
Yeah,
on a
and then
wide receiver.
Hayden Hurst is on the Panthers now, which I'm pumped about because he's a South Carolina guy.
Dude, the Panthers are making so many moves.
It's definitely the most I've seen them move since Tepper bought the Panthers.
Oh my gosh. I mean, even a new head coach. It's a completely different Panthers team this season than last season.
So,
and then also I'll say that it just happened this morning was, I don't even know how to pronounce the last name, but Mike Siski, from the Dolphins, their tight end, went to the Patriots as well. So Patriots are rebuilding a little bit. So it'll be interesting to see with Bill Belichick what they do this year.
That will be interesting to see, and how long or what Mac Jones' ceiling ends up being.
Correct.
You know, like a year or two, is it? I think it's starting to look like he's good enough for now, but they're going to eventually replace him and level up. But I mean, he could have a breakout season. So that would be interesting to see.
Yeah, he could. We'll see.
D-line, outside linebackers, a couple interesting ones is Davenport left the Saints and went to the Vikings. Maybe. Plus, they got a new DC. So the Vikings might get a solid-ish, a better defense this year.
That's a big sign for the Vikings.
That's a big sign because their defense was so trash.
Davenport's a beast.
Trash last year.
That definitely boosts their D-line a little bit there.
And then Javon Hargrave going from the Eagles to the 49ers. That's going to be a really interesting one to see.
That was huge. That was a huge loss for the Eagles.
And a big gain for the 49ers. Granted, obviously, the 49ers have lost D'Amico Ryan as their DC, but I think I'm willing to say right now I'm putting my Super Bowl winner is the 49ers going into next year.
Oh.
But stuff could change in the offseason.
Clip it.
Clip it right now. That's my prediction.
We should make predictions for all 32 teams, like sporadically.
and then there's a timestamp for March 20th.
Yep.
Let's bring it back.
Every single episode, we pick a new. I think the Panthers are going to go all the way this year.
We just keep them saved.
Yeah. No, the Eagles. The Eagles have lost some people. They're making me nervous as my second favorite backup team.
Yep.
To be honest, and they lost their offensive and defensive coordinator, who both went to be head coaches.
Yeah. So that'll be interesting to see. And then what they end up doing with Jalen Hurts, because that contract's still up.
Yeah.
But anyway, Jimmy Ward left the 49ers, moving on to DBs, and is with the Texans now. Makes sense that he's following D'Amico Ryan.
Yep.
Other than that, the one big DB move that I'm excited about is Jalen Ramsey to the Dolphins.
Yeah.
That's going to be really interesting.
The Dolphins a lot too.
And then James Bradbury with the hold. Didn't matter. He still got signed with the Eagles. He's continuing on.
Well, at least they picked him up, yeah.
But yeah. So other moves right now in the offseason is the Cowboys have gotten rid of Zeke. So he's up in the air where he lands. Aaron Rodgers has said multiple times that he's wanting to play for the Jets.
Yep.
I'm assuming, I think it's going to happen.
Apparently there's a lot to do with the contract though. And that the Packers want a ton. Apparently I heard a few days ago that they're asking for 2 first-round picks for a 39-year-old Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah. So I don't know if I would do it.
Yeah, that's a lot for maybe a year or two left.
But I would be shocked if the Packers can keep Rodgers. So something's going to happen. And if he wants to go to the Jets, I think it's going to happen. It's just, it'll be interesting.
What they get.
Yeah. Lamar Jackson, no real new updates in the last week or so. Odell Beckham, though, I saw that he had 12 teams checking out a workout of his. And so there's been a lot of interest, but he didn't play any last season. So that's,
it'll be interesting.
That'll be interesting.
Yeah. He's always one of those people, though, that you can plug and play, and he can be a good kind of second or third string.
I mean, I bet he could still be on a lot of teams, one of the top receivers next year.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
So there's some more, but instead of just speculating on those, we'll wait until moves happen in future weeks and bring that to it. But with everything that's happening right now, I'm curious, of these moves, what do you think is the best, and what do you think is going to be the one that doesn't pan out?
So I'm going to say 2 real quick. I'm going to say Hargrave to the 49ers. I think that bolsters the 49ers defense. I mean, just immediately. He was a beast for the Eagles. And I think that's a great signing by the 49ers, especially because they're going to be in contention again this year.
Yep.
So I think that just really, especially because they signed him to a 1-year deal, I think. So overall, I mean, great, in my opinion, great signing by the 49ers. Also, I got to add this to the Panthers. I love two things the Panthers have done, and that's Andy Dalton and Thielen, because, yeah, they're both a little older, and they might not be in their prime, but Andy Dalton's going to help coach up a young quarterback, which I think is always key. And then Thielen's going to really help mentor, young wide receivers that they have.
And if we go back to, we're saying they're on the 3-4 year, maybe 5-year trajectory to being really potentially a brand new, very good team at that point. Yeah. Those are big moves. So I like that.
Yeah. Let me think about the least exciting because I'm not sure.
Yeah.
You go ahead.
So most excited, I think Jalen Ramsey to the Dolphins.
Yeah, that's another good one.
I think I'm not quite there. I'm almost willing to say I think the Dolphins are going to win the division this year.
They were good last year.
They were good last year. Shoring up the secondary with Jalen Ramsey's huge. Giving another year of Tyreek Hill there. You're keeping Raheem Mostert and Wilson. So I think that's the move that I'm most excited about. Okay, I'm going to reframe the least excited.
Okay.
Unless you have one. Do you have one yet?
No, I'm looking it up, to be honest.
So then I'm going to do the one that you maybe have the biggest doubts about.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to go with Jimmy G to the Raiders.
Ooh.
Reason being, well, there's two thoughts. This is the reason I didn't want to say straight least. I think Jimmy G's solid. I don't think he's that good. What concerns me is you have Devontae Adams, who is a really big deep ball threat, longer play, like very good, one of the best receivers in the league. And then Jimmy G, who has the least completed passes over 30 yards. I don't know if he has one over 40, or I think it was like 30 air yards in the last couple of years. Yeah. So you're getting a quarterback strength that's all close in. Yeah, Hunter Renfrow is going to be getting open close, but that's the kind of world that Jimmy G's been living in.
Yep.
So then you take that with this standout deep threat receiver, and I don't see those strengths complementing that well.
Yeah.
Or rather, not than two strengths not complementing. I don't see Jimmy G getting the most out of Devontae Adams.
Right. Yeah, that's fair. I would say one that I'm arguably least excited about, and I think it's almost more for me, it's like being overhyped, is Derek Carr to the Saints. And I think Derek Carr's a good quarterback. Like it's not a knock on Derek Carr, but the way that they are kind of framing this, I think it's just being overhyped. And I think Derek Carr's not, the Saints aren't a great team. It's not like he's going into a team with all these weapons that they can kind of just bolster. Yeah. So anyway, I just think I wouldn't, maybe I just say overhyped, I think.
That's fair. I think to me that trade is putting the Saints as the NFC South winner this year, maybe winning one playoff game than losing, because Baker and the Bucs aren't going to do it. The Falcons, I don't necessarily see Taylor Heineke making them, like, I think I don't know, it kind of feels like a lateral move with Marcus Mariota to Taylor Heineke. So I think they're going to be about the same. Panthers, I think they're a couple years out. Yep. They could do it, but I think they're a couple years out. So really, it kind of locks them at the NFC South, and so it's giving them a playoff opportunity. But are you going to be able to beat the Chiefs or whoever's coming, the Bengals, whoever's coming from the AFC, Dolphins, or get past whatever happens with the Eagles if they get back, the 49ers? Right. Like, I don't think you're going to be able to win the Super Bowl with Derek Carr.
It'll be interesting about the Eagles this season, man. I don't know.
But
Anyway.
He's also, I think Derek Carr is the kind of guy that makes everyone else on the team a little bit better. And so it could happen.
Yeah.
But I agree with you there.
Yeah.
Okay, some other little updates. I'm going to toss it to you because I know you got to give a little golf update.
So I always have to give a little golf update. So we watched the last hole together. The Valspar Championship. Now, it's not one of the biggest tournaments of the year, but nonetheless, it's a PGA Tour golf tournament, which the stakes are always high. Spieth was in contention again and then choked again. Tied for lead with a few holes left, hit in the water. Bang. That always hurts. And then the guy who won it was Taylor Moore, 29 years old, I believe. First win on tour. So I love, you gotta love seeing a first win on tour. But he beat out, and you can't make this up, Shank. The guy's last name who he's competing against is pronounced Shank, which you can't make that up. But I was actually rooting for Shank because he had a wife who was like 8 months pregnant, and he'd also never won on the PGA Tour. So anyway, it would have been cool to see either one of them win. But anyway.
The one hole that I did watch was the 18th. I picked a good one.
Unbelievable.
Shank almost drained. What was that putt?
It was like a 40-foot putt. I mean, it was crazy. It was like a 40
He wasn't leaving it short, that's for sure. Put a little speed on it and then just barely missed the pin over the hole, caught the lip, but didn't sink it.
Yeah, because if he would have made that putt on 18, he would have had a playoff hole with Moore.
With Moore, yeah.
Which would have been fun to watch.
Yeah.
But it hit the flag and it was just going a touch too fast, which we've all been there.
Yes.
Yeah. And then in kind of political news, Trump tweeted on his Truth Social, the social media.
Yeah.
I guess tweeted, whatever, posted that he was going to get arrested on Tuesday. Like tomorrow. Like when this episode comes out Tuesday. So I wanted to make sure to get this right. So the article states that Trump suggested on Truth Social over the weekend that he will be arrested on Tuesday as part of the Manhattan District Attorney's investigation into hush money paid to adult film star Stormy Daniels during the 2016 election. So he would be the first indictment of an ex-president in U.S. history if possible. So he's calling for like a revolt on Truth Social. Like how messed up this is, I guess.
Who's on Truth Social to revolt?
Yeah, his Truth Social account. I have no idea, man.
It's a good question.
But it'll be interesting to see if he actually does officially get arrested. That's kind of big news.
Yeah.
On Tuesday.
That is interesting, which this episode's coming out on Tuesday, so you guys are going to know when you hear this whether we're full of it or telling the truth.
Yeah. Well, that's what he said.
We're saying he said what she said, what they said.
Exactly.
So college baseball, real quick. South Carolina looks like they have a pretty good team this year. They're 16-1. However, they're ranked 16th and behind in the SEC. LSU, Tennessee, Ole Miss, Florida, Vandy, Arkansas, and A&M. So playing 5 of the top 7 teams right now in our schedule.
The SEC
that is going to be brutal in every sport right now.
Yeah, but baseball too.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like SEC and then ACC traditionally is pretty good. So between the SEC and the ACC though, I mean, baseball is kind of a lock there.
Yeah. So
I always love the College World Series too.
I know. And it's been a few years since we've been there. So hopefully we get back this year.
Yeah.
And then episode 1 of Ted Lasso has come out. I didn't realize it was a week by week thing at first.
I didn't either. And I was
that's the way it was last year.
I think so. I was happy and sad about that because I was happy because I was like, every Wednesday I get to watch Ted Lasso, but I really wanted to watch the entire season in 2 days.
It made it better because I didn't really have the time to binge it. And so I was worried I was going to get left behind. FOMO kicks in. But
the whole Ted Lasso, it's fascinating to me because they made up this fake Premier League brand that now apparently officially gets like sponsorships.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable. Like they just kind of just fake created this. And now it's like a legit thing. Yeah, it says Nando's to become official sponsor of Ted Lasso's AFC Richmond.
That's crazy. Nando's, though, get a little heat. It's nice. Have you had Nando's before? Dude,
no.
It's so good.
Also, AFC Richmond, the Ted Lasso team, was featured on FIFA 23. So you could play as them.
Which, they're making some dollars.
Oh, my gosh. I think, and jeez.
That's crazy. All right, moving on. We've got Iceman's Unsung Hero. Last week was so good.
It was
I love
good.
that one. So let's see what he's got for us.
This week's Unsung Hero is Roger Wagner. In 1982, Roger Wagner gave us the first iteration of the boss button. The boss button, some of you may know because you have to use it frequently, is a one-click away on the NCAA webpage that allows you to go from watching NCAA March Madness to a fake spreadsheet or some other work document that looks like you're doing something productive. While you're on the clock there, you could just try and surf and see what creativity they came up each year, like this year's Chat GPT page or last year's Tracy Morgan web call, or in the COVID years, the Zoom call. But the most technical one gets into the Excel spreadsheet that has absolutely nothing to do with what you're doing at work. But without Roger Wagner, this would be impossible. So Michael Jordan's freshman year, with a really old style computer, he put together the first boss button. And in 2005, the NCAA incorporated into their webpage where you can stream all the different channels of CBS. But without Roger Wagner, we would all have no way to feel like we're actually doing something productive while being completely unproductive. So here's to you, Roger. You're this week's unsung hero.
That's a fun backstory.
That is the boss button.
I remember in high school, like way back, not way back. I guess I'm getting kind of old.
47 years
47 years ago. We would always just, I don't know what they thought we were doing on Excel. They knew exactly what we were doing. But like hit that boss button all the time when teachers would walk by.
You're like, there it is.
There it is.
Yeah.
These students are being so productive doing stats in the English class right now.
Right. Yeah. Doing Excel spreadsheets.
Yeah.
That's good. I tell you what, NCAA March Madness, they should make that a federal holiday. You know?
There's something fun about everyone trying to do their life, but
true.
it's all about March Madness.
Yeah.
It's cool.
And all like the watch parties and like, yeah. It's just, people just need any type of excuse to not work or drink.
That's true. and March Madness delivers. Okay, so moving forward, we have the top team, the best team. What should we call this officially? I did TT, like top team, but I don't know if I like that. Best team?
All-time greats.
Well, like that for this type of
legend team?
Well, because it's not always. It's like the fact of like the 4 teams that are competing when you rank them. What like should that be called?
The legend challenge?
But it's not always legends, is what I'm saying.
Oh, you're just saying like
the
as
structure.
A segment.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you meant this one.
Yeah. Maybe we'll open it up. You should just tell us what you think we should call it. Should we do that?
Let's see. What should we call it?
Okay, for now, it's going to be best team, top team, whatever we say. But for today, we have all-time greats on it. It's not the 4 best in everything, but we've got 4 of the best basketball players, football quarterbacks, soccer players, and baseball players. And so I tried to get 2 more recent guys and 2 older guys.
Mm-hmm.
On team 1, we have LeBron James, Peyton Manning, Pele, and Hank Aaron. Team 2, Magic Johnson, Dan Marino, Cristiano Ronaldo, and Barry Bonds. Team 3, Kobe Bryant, Joe Montana, Lionel Messi, and Willie Mays. Team 4 is Michael Jordan, Tom Brady, Diego Maradona, Ken Griffey Jr.
What a beautiful swing.
I loved Ken Griffey Jr.
So this is, I love this idea. And honestly, this is, I think I know immediately what I want. Yeah.
So in one hand, this is easier because there's not as many of wrong answers exactly. But I mean, they're all greats. These are all some of the greatest. And it's so subjective.
So subjective. Yeah.
So anyway, with that.
Like Bryce Young.
That was not subjective at all.
Yeah.
But in 4th place, who do you have?
Team 2.
Team 2 and 4.
Yep.
Tell me why.
So this is why. I think Magic Johnson is the weakest out of the 4, especially hype-wise. Like you can make an argument that like he's better than Kobe for sure. And
I will make that argument.
Yeah. But Kobe, it's also Kobe Bryant, like with the name and legacy. So anyway, but that's not the main reason. I think Magic Johnson's bottom tier compared to Michael and LeBron. Dan Marino, great quarterback, but I think it's also bottom 2. So I think I would definitely do Tom Brady. I think he's very comparable with Joe Montana, though. I don't know. So I would say Magic Johnson, Dan Marino, Cristiano Ronaldo, also a beast. But the main reason I picked Team 2 last is Barry Bonds.
Because of the roids?
Yeah, you have to. You have to, man. Like, don't get me wrong, phenomenal baseball player. And I really wish we would have known what his stats would have been without steroids, because steroids only help with so much. Like you still have to have the hand-eye, and you still have to.
And he was such a good, very different player before the steroids.
Yeah,
when I grabbed this picture of him, I saw the old SNL clip. It's hilarious because they show him the picture before and after, and he was just like small, fast dude, and his head like triples in size.
So I have to do team 2 last, based on Barry Bonds' steroids use.
I don't hate that, but I'm going to go team 3 as last because I think Kobe was the worst basketball player up there. I think hype-wise, I agree with you, but Magic Johnson was definitely better.
Yeah, I agree.
Joe Montana's good. Willie Mays, I really liked him.
Yeah.
Lionel Messi, though, is going to be the star of this team, but I don't think it's enough to overtake the stars of the other team. And so for that reason, team 3 is going to be in 4th place for me.
Yeah. I am actually going to say the exact same thing. Or sorry, I'm going to go team 3. So I'm going to go team 3 next as well. Okay. So 3rd place for me, same thing. I think the star's Lionel Messi by far. I think he is probably going to be the best soccer player to ever play, ever live. Willie Mays was good, but he definitely wasn't Hank Aaron good. Yeah. Right. And I also think Willie Mays was very overhyped. Like he had that backwards catch, quote unquote, but like how many times do you see people make that routine play all the time?
That's fair.
So anyway, I'm going team 3 and 3.
Okay. Team 2, I'm going to put in 3rd place.
Okay.
Magic Johnson, again, all of these greats of the sport. Magic Johnson, Dan Marino, very good. Cristiano Ronaldo, one of the best soccer players of all time. But this is where I agree with you. I think Barry Bonds is very, very good, but it was personal for me when he broke Hank Aaron's record, and especially because of the steroids. Right. For that reason, team 2 is going to be in 3rd place. Can't win the championship game.
Yeah. So... yeah, I agree with you on there. So we got championship. We got the same championship.
Same championship.
Right? So team 1 and team 4 are in the championship. Mm-hmm. So this is really fun.
Yeah.
I think LeBron takes the edge over Jordan. And I think Peyton is not as good as Tom, but I like Pele over Diego. And of course, Hank Aaron, in my eyes, he's the home run leader. So I like Hank Aaron over Ken Griffey Jr. Team 1 wins it.
Team 1 wins it. Okay. I'm going to disagree here. I'm going to put team 1 in 2nd place, which is hard for me to do because I love Hank Aaron. I think he is the great. He is the GOAT of baseball. Mm-hmm. However, team 4 is unstoppable because it has the 2 biggest GOATs, arguably the greatest GOATs, the greatest of all time, and Michael Jordan, Tom Brady. Like they are unstoppable. And Maradona is not as good as Pele. He just had like a good goal. And Ken Griffey's definitely not Hank Aaron. But Jordan is better than LeBron, and Tom Brady is better than Manning. And in the day, team 1 takes it.
There you go. I'll agree to disagree.
Hey, although we disagreed on every pick, this was one of the closest ones. I feel like I can actually respect your opinion.
Yeah. Fair enough.
Fair enough.
Gosh, Tom Brady's so good, though.
He's so good. Gosh. Okay, so... jumping into Florida Man.
Here we go.
You're in my head now because...
what about 7? 7 for 4?
You're 7 and 4. And if you get this right, you're going to be 8 and 4, which you were 4 and 4. And so 8 and 4 is a obviously very different feel for me. And so I feel like I'm starting to lose my edge. Have you watched Poker Face?
Yes.
So we just watched the racing episode where he's talking about losing his flow before.
And
I'm starting to lose my flow. I'm losing it. But story 1. A new but popular taco stand in Bradenton began to unravel when they received an impromptu health inspection. When the health inspector arrived, he was surprised to discover the stand wasn't making their own tacos at all. Instead, they were buying tacos from a nearby Del Taco and heating them up in an easy bake oven and selling them as their own. The taco stand is currently closed and facing legal charges from Del Taco.
We've all thought about doing that.
We've all thought about it. On the other side of things, story number 2. On Monday, the Lakeland Police Department received a call that a man was sitting in the middle of a crosswalk eating pancakes on a small table. When police arrived, the man was already gone. However, a video was already trending online, and police were able to track down the man as a result. The Florida man was charged with obstruction in the roadway and disrupting the free flow of traffic.
Oh, gosh, this is a tough one, I feel like. A story 2 is definitely outlandish. You have a man sitting in the middle of a crosswalk eating pancakes on a small table. So are you gonna try to reverse psych me here with the outlandish? Being like, oh, I'm not going to think it's outlandish, so I picked story 1, but actually it is outlandish. So anyway, The only reason I picked story 1 here as the false story was because of the line, he was surprised to discover the stand wasn't making their own tacos at all. And I feel like you would say something like that. So story 1's fake, story 2's true.
Dang. You do realize I write, like both of these
Oh,
are.
I know. I'm just going with my gut.
I know, but what I'm saying is like your logic's always like, you would say that line in this one. I'm like, both of these are my lines.
Yeah, I know. I know. I just feel like
Dang.
gut-wise.
There you go.
Got it right?
In the middle of the road with a folding table, eating, just sitting in the middle of the road eating.
A man in Florida attempting to go viral with a prank ended up getting arrested after he decided to eat his breakfast in the middle of a road in Florida.
The man's just chilling without a shirt on, pajama pants in the
While
middle of the
shirtless,
road,
wearing bright
eating
green
pancakes
pajama
with
pants.
syrup. That's awesome.
That's something my cousin Logan would do.
Oh,
Yeah.
hopefully not.
Eight.
Dang.
8-4, baby. I am getting the hang of it now.
This is wild. Okay. I'm shook, but moving on to growth mindsets. I was talking to my sister-in-law, and she was like, y'all should definitely share more of the updates of how it's going, because one of the things about growth mindsets is it's not about just like you have a goal and you hit it or don't have it, but it's the resiliency of like continuing on.
I like that.
And
good
so
point.
shout out Whitney. Let's, I guess I can go first since I was talking about getting fit last week and still got a long way to go, but definitely it was a good week. I started taking regular cold showers again, which was something that I used to do. I really like doing.
Yeah.
Just if you fall out of the habit, it's hard to start back.
Oh, yeah.
And there's something about doing something that you hate first thing in the morning or right after the gym that kind of gets you in the zone.
So Theo Vaughn was just talking about that on his
really?
podcast with George Kittle. He had George Kittle
Oh,
on
really?
this week or last week, and I was listening to it when I was
That'd
traveling
be a
to
fun one
Blacksburg.
to listen to.
I only listened to like the first hour or so. It was like a 3-hour podcast. And I was like, this is awesome. Like George Kittle's a great personality and
Fun
Theo
fun
Vaughn,
energy.
obviously. But they were talking about that for like 20 minutes. They both do it first thing in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought it was pretty
That's
interesting.
cool.
So how many times do you work out this week or last week?
I worked out. I'm trying to think. I worked out every day with 3 2-a-days. So
Oh my gosh.
I worked out 10 times last week.
So you do morning and evening, right?
Not always, but sometimes.
No, but 2-a-days.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I like went to the gym in the morning and then did like a light like 6-mile Peloton ride or something like that.
At night.
Yeah.
Got it. Wow, man. Good for you. That's
So,
awesome. Great update. Wow. You kind of crushed my update here.
But I mean, that's part of it though. Like there are weeks that are good and there are weeks that aren't as good. And so for me, this next week, I want to continue, especially with the cold showers, trying to rein in diet, continuing to eat right. But like it's always tough for me because I can go to extremes. And so finding what's a good balance of you don't need to go extreme and not eat bread for an entire month, but like, do you want it now? And if so, like you really want it, have it, but you don't have to. And so finding that balance of improving but still enjoying the things that you love about life.
Yeah. So we'll start doing donut Mondays here.
We will not be doing that on my end, but I'm going to continue with the goal. All that said.
That's awesome. So I talked about morning routine
Yeah.
and I feel like what I'm trying to do is establish the same morning routine every day. And I feel like that's detrimental for me because I just have so much going on that like I might have an early meeting one morning and that morning routine looks a lot different than if my day starts at 8:30 or 9.
Yep.
Right? I almost feel like I should have morning routine, like variations of a morning routine for specific days of the week. That's why I love like today. Today was like get up, work an hour, then work out. So we worked out later, which I thought was one of the best workouts I've gotten in a while. And then obviously recording the podcast. So maybe Monday we can do that. And then obviously every day looks different. But my goal is really some type of movement. And it doesn't have to be an hour-long workout, but like some type of movement in the morning. And then I would love to get to a point where I meditate just for like 5 to 10 minutes, whether it's in the sauna or whether it's just like in a room, but just like kind of clear the head first thing. I feel like so important. And then read the Bible. So that's for me. I want to do those 3 things every morning. So it's like quiet, meditate, read the Bible, and movement. So I think I struggle because I try to do it at the same time every day, but that doesn't work out.
Yeah.
Especially if one night's later or like, stuff like that.
Yeah. And with business, there's some control you have on your schedule, but then there's sometimes where like if you're going after this client and they can only do it at a certain time, like you've got to be adaptable. I feel like it's a better strategy to pick what are the non-negotiables that you're going to fit somewhere in your day than it has to be at 7 o'clock. Or like maybe a non-negotiable is before you start anything, you're going to have 10 minutes of meditation without your phone. And like that's going to happen, but it doesn't matter if it happens at 5 or 7. That's more of the way that I approach it.
But I would really like before starting work to be grounded.
Yeah. I mean, I think that is big.
Yeah. So anyway, I thought did an okay job, but I want to keep improving on it this week.
Yeah.
So I'll have an update next week.
Sweet. I'm excited to hear it. The draft, as I mentioned earlier, is rom-coms with the disclaimer it's going to be 21st century rom-coms. So
I love
basically, I didn't want anyone saying you didn't pick Roman Holiday or something.
Yeah.
It was
and I don't watch
from
movies
the
if they're not
80s,
like
70s,
recent.
60s, whenever it was.
I don't know if I've only watched probably 3 movies that were before 2000.
All right. So this is an even episode, and so I get the first pick.
Go ahead.
With my number 1 overall pick, I'm going to go with Fool's Gold.
Okay.
A classic with Matthew McConaughey, Kate Hudson. It's got treasure, romance. We've got Kevin Hart showing up as the bunny. Like, what more do you want in a movie? The answer for me is nothing more. I would just watch that movie over and over again.
Yeah. What more could you possibly want? So number 1 for me is an interesting one because it's one I watched a long time ago, and it's one of the first movies I think I cried to.
Yeah.
So it's Dear John. It's in a little bit. I think I forgot, maybe 10 years ago or something.
Pretty good soundtrack, right?
Good soundtrack. And I tell you what, it just tugs at the heartstrings. At the heartstrings a little bit.
A little bit more on the romance than the comedy side, but good. But good. Mine definitely probably, we'll see. Adam Sandler's coming in here. Continuing with the tropical theme, I'm going to Just Go With It.
Oh, nice.
Jennifer Aniston.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Adam Sandler, Brooklyn Decker. Great movie in Hawaii. Again, what more do you want?
Yeah, that's a good one. So I'm going to go with a classic that I think if you don't love, you're not a person. Crazy Stupid Love.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I mean, I feel like you should watch that movie at some point if you have.
Oh, it's so good.
Yeah.
I'll endorse that pick there. Okay, this is where it gets tough because those two for me were 1 and 2, no doubt.
Yeah.
Now I've got about 10 that are fighting for the next 3 spots.
I know.
I'm going to go with another Matthew McConaughey and Kate Hudson, How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days.
Oh, that's a good one. Gosh. And I love Matthew McConaughey.
It's Caitlin's favorite movie of all time. And so we watch it yearly. No, quarterly, probably.
Yeah.
It'll be like 6 months. And she's like, yeah, we haven't watched How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days in a long time. I'm like, you mean like 6 months ago?
Yeah, we got to do it again.
Yeah.
This is one, number 3 for me is one I saw recently. Your Place or Mine with Reese Witherspoon. And I tell you
Ashton
what,
Kutcher.
I love Reese Witherspoon as an actor. I think she's so good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is a good movie. I get nervous about picking really new movies though on these. It's
Yeah.
like, have they, is it recency bias?
Has it aged? Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I'm going to go Adam Sandler again. 50 First Dates.
Yep.
Adam Sandler, obviously, Drew Barrymore. It's a great movie.
Yeah.
Heart-throbbing.
Pulls
Heart-throb. Just strings getting pulled back and forth. What I used to do back when I was winning the Florida Man before you started being my puppet master.
I'm telling you what, I
tough.
you are my puppet master. Or no, I am your puppet. You're my puppet. So for me, this is a classic. Gosh, it's a classic. Number 4, Longest Ride.
I haven't seen that movie in so long.
I think it was released early 2000s.
Wait, Longest Ride or Longest Yard? I was just thinking Longest Yard when he said that.
No, Longest Ride. Miley Cyrus.
Oh, yeah. That's the movie that climbs in, right?
Yes. Or sorry, not Miley Cyrus.
Wait, what are you talking about?
I was thinking of the last song.
That's the one with the climb.
No, but I did mean this movie. So number 4 for me, classic.
Are you sure you like it?
Yeah. Classic, released in 2015, is The Longest Ride. And with Scott Eastwood. And it's about like the, when he's like a bull rider. And my uncle was actually, I don't know if he was like fully a PBR professional bull rider, but I had an uncle who like was on the mini tour for professional bull riding. So I could relate a little bit.
Okay. That's a good one.
Yeah.
Okay. There are 3 right now, 4 that I'm really struggling to pick between. 5.
Okay.
I'm going to give some honorable mentions.
I like that.
So honorable mentions before it because I've got to narrow it down.
No, because you can't take
I
mine
can't take
away.
it?
You can't. You can do honorable mentions after I say 5.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ooh, I'm really struggling here. I think I'm going to change my mind of what I'd originally put down and go straight impulse here.
Okay. I love it.
Forgetting Sarah Marshall.
Oh, that's
Impulse
a good
one right there.
I haven't watched that in so long.
Because Mila Kunis, amazing in it. That was my impulse. I'm going to come back with some honorable mentions because
Fair enough.
that was very difficult.
Yeah, fair enough. But for me, all-time classic, Nicholas Sparks, number 5 ends on The Notebook.
Yeah.
As I think
That
it
had to
should.
get- that had to get- that had to
Someone
get picked.
had to say it.
That's fair. Other honorable mentions, though, for me
Go
were
ahead.
The Proposal,
Check.
Bridesmaids,
Okay.
Wedding Crashers,
Yep.
and then Hitch.
I never saw that one.
You've never seen Hitch? You
No.
know, teach you how to dance. Keep it right here.
Uh-uh.
Oh, that's a
For
good movie.
me-
You should go watch. That's your homework.
Got it. For me, it was the last song, Miley Cyrus. Honorable mention. Love Hard was a new movie that I really enjoyed. And then 40-Year-Old Virgin.
That's another good one.
Yeah.
The Steve Carell. Anyway.
Steve Carell.
Stevie movies. So good.
Yeah, he's so good.
Anyway, episode 12, as always, share the love, share the episode with people. That would be really kind of you to do.
Yeah.
Very good thing.
Yeah.
Make you feel better about yourself.
Yeah. And
make me feel better.
I will say merch is going to come at some point in the next 3 to 4 to 5 years.
So be looking out for it.
Yeah.
In those
we got
years.
golf balls already.
That's true. We've got them right here, actually. Not for sale yet.
Not for
for
sale.
fun. I've been marketing by throwing these into the woods via a golf club.
Yes. But if you haven't, leave a 5-star. We want Spotify and Apple to push this bad junk out.
Bad junk out. Anyway, peace.
Episode 12.